Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Seriously? A Grinch horror movie?
Yep.
So, like, the Grinch is a killer?
Yep.
What's next? Another snowman?
Yeah, it's been done.
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig. And this week, we're back after a few weeks off between Thanksgiving and
A couple
illness.
of different people
and
being sick,
people being
and then
in and out of work or whatever.
cancellation, and
Yep.
yeah.
So, because it's December, we're bringing you a Christmas movie with the plan of doing another one next week. And then we'll get back to the stuff that we already had watched for the show that we'll just have to wait even longer.
Yeah.
This week we bring you a movie that we wanted to bring you last year.
We wanted this right when it was coming out.
Unfortunately, nobody close enough within a reasonable distance was carrying this movie. But we finally get to it. It's the mean one, a.k.a. the Grinch horror movie.
Yes.
They just can't call it that. Basic premise is Cindy, you know who, saw her parents killed by a green monster.
Well, her mother.
Or her mother.
Yeah.
And then she decides to get revenge, and nobody believes her. And she decides as she grows up to get trained and get revenge on this beast.
Yeah.
In a small northeastern town. It was basically
Newville?
No, but they made it like it was like New England-ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically that twist on the Grinch story.
Yeah.
Anything else before we get into the behind-the-scenes stuff that you got to say about like the general plot?
Well,
not your opinion on it, like just
the Grinch kills people?
Sure, like I've already covered that with
right.
She watched.
What is the plot other than that?
And revenge.
Okay.
Which I covered. Anyway, so you could have just said no.
Watch it.
That's well. Wow. But why don't we show you the trailer in case you're one of the few people that missed it when it was viral last year.
Remember that story about Cindy you-know-who? When her Christmas was stolen, she knew what to do.
Why, Santa Claus? Why?
But what if I said that's not how it went down?
You gonna be okay? Because we can turn around right now.
No. Poor girl. Her mother was killed. Her mind snapped.
Did you ever find the Christmas killer?
Never got a reliable description of the man.
Dad? He is out there! What if the Christmas killer is back?
This town cannot go through another Christmas killer thing. Not again.
Us folks down in Newville, we liked Christmas a lot. But that thing that lives just north of Newville does not.
What is it?
The mean one. He's slippery, he's elusive. He's a mean one, that mister.
My
I'm not going to be a victim anymore. Time to roast this beast. You're a dead one, mister.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, that trailer just said what we said.
Oh yeah.
All
Only
right.
for 2 minutes.
Now, before we get into the behind-the-scenes information about this movie and then our opinions, we have to give a shout-out to our sponsors. There's a reason we do this week after week, and it's to make money. And how do we do that? Selling ourselves like, women of the evening.
Yes, indeed.
Gory Storytime is brought to you by Anti-Christmas, the album. The soundtrack for people who don't like the Christmas season, featuring such classics as Santa Claus Ain't Comin' to Town, O Pagan Tree, and of course, Rudolph in Red Bean Chili. Be sure to own those people with beliefs different than you by mocking their traditions. So get even farther from the Christmas spirit with Anti-Christmas, the album.
And by the new book, Every Movie is a Christmas Movie. In this book, the argument is made for why not only obvious ones like The Santa Claus, The Grinch, and Die Hard are Christmas time classics, but since the only criteria for a movie being a Christmas movie seems to be it takes place near Christmas, and doesn't matter if the holiday is a part of the plot, and Christianity admits they don't know what day Jesus was actually born, then who can say My Girl, American Pie, and Human Centipede 3 don't take place during the season he was actually born? Buy a copy of Every Movie is a Christmas Movie because screw logic. That's why.
Absolutely. All right. Now, let's get into the meat and beef, as you like to say, of the show.
Or as I like to call it, the meat and beef of the show.
I'll go first if you want. Loosely based on the iconic 1957 children's book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss, about a cranky Christmas-hating creature that ruins the holiday for a small town. The title, The Mean One, is taken from an original song used in the 1966 animated TV special.
The Mean One stars David Howard Thornton of Terrifier fame.
Thornton.
Thornton.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's got it in there. There's not... Anyway, a second. There are multiple references to Dr. Seuss throughout, referencing some of his works, etc. A restaurant is named Horton's, is in Horton Hears a Who. A character is called Dr. Zeus, not Seuss, but close. And a character drinks from a bottle named Geisels, is in Dr. Seuss's real name, Theodore Seuss Geisel.
XYZ Films announced on October 2nd of 2022 that they've picked up The Mean One for December 2022 release. XYZ Films manager of acquisitions and development Alex Williams said in the announcement, as a passionate fan of seasonal horror and the Terrifier films, The Mean One is exactly the kind of film that lands on my personal nice list.
On November 23rd, 2022, it was announced that the film would theatrically debut on December 9th, courtesy of Atlas Films, with XYZ Films no longer involved in the release whatsoever.
Yeah. Special effects supervisor
Tatiana
Bluschel wanted everything about the costume just right, even hand-painted the teeth herself.
The voiceover by Christopher Saunders is an impression of Anthony Hopkins, who did the narration of the 99 Grinch movie with Jim Carrey.
Yeah. The Mean One was only in 162 theaters, making $218,550 opening weekend, and brought in a total of $612,260 over 2.6 weeks in theaters. Nobody seems to know the budget online.
Yeah.
Nobody.
We looked. I looked and looked and looked, and then he looked. He's like, "Oh, I found it," and it turned out it was like the Terrifier, not.
Yeah,
it was
very
annoying.
Weird.
The Mean One was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital download on October 3rd of 2023, and I got it like
a couple weeks after.
Like I immediately went
ordered it.
Well, I ordered it, and
then they kept not sending the copy.
Actually, what happened was they never really released it as a DVD. What they did was, if you ordered it, they would print one for you, and you could start ordering them on the 3rd. And it was almost a full month later when I got it.
Yeah, that was a pain. Snow continues to fall in scenes, but doesn't accumulate on clothing, cars, or the dry ground. That's fun.
Yeah, and there's a couple spots where you hear David Howard Thornton growling and a sound effect growl in the same shot.
Mm. And unlike the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, this movie couldn't use the actual names from the Dr. Seuss classic. Pooh is now public domain, and this is a parody, so they have different rules legally.
Makes sense. And that's about all we found for information on it.
Except Rotten Tomatoes exists.
That's true. And for those who don't know, Rotten Tomatoes does not rate the movies. They do like to fudge the numbers we found more recently, but originally here was the conceit. We take all of the known critics that reviewed it, we add them together and divide them by the positive number of reviews, and that's what your percentage is. And they do the same thing with the people. They definitely try to push certain movies and try to like squash other movies. Yeah. And then there's people online that will go and vote up or down on things, even if they never saw it, just to try to hurt the score. But what do the critics think of this?
Have a 17% approval rating of this movie.
Because you don't want to say an 83 disapproval.
They were not in on this.
And the people, still not great, but enough to be fresh, 64%.
Which I had to click on it to find that number because the verified audience were the ones that they were pushing at like 50-something.
Yeah, see, that's so dumb. Like, what do you mean verified audience?
I
like
have no idea.
You go on and you click, and they just add you into the number, positive or negative. But anyway, now we're going to get into our favorite, least favorite, and ratings, I guess.
Yeah.
This one's going kind of quick, but that's mainly because there wasn't a lot to it.
There wasn't a lot.
Which one do you want to do first? Because it's kind of riding a line for me.
It really is. It really is. Let's just do our least favorite first.
Okay. You want to go first? Or you want me to?
I can go first. So my least favorite thing about this movie is that the marketing did not matter. That, we got David Howard Thornton to be in this movie. Because what they meant by that was, look, we got Terrifier to be Grinch, and that didn't matter. That changed nothing.
Like, he did a good job with like the same like sense of humor that he brought.
He moved around a lot.
He acted
well.
His part. The problem is, and this it's my least favorite thing too. So I'm just going to jump in here.
Yeah.
The problem is when you advertise it as we got the Terrifier to be in this movie. What you're insinuating is this is going to be bloody and gory and disgusting and
all
funny.
Over the place.
The things that describe Terrifier.
Right.
And he was humorous, but like there was very little blood.
Minimal blood.
Like I don't want someone cut in half like on Terrifier.
Right. But the only reason that this was rated R was the cussing.
Basically, like most of this could be on regular TV. I've seen more violence and blood
on Law and Order.
Yeah. So it needed to go harder.
A little more above and beyond.
They had some cool ideas. Well, we'll get into that after when I give my rating. But
yeah.
What was your favorite scene then?
Well, I think that we're going to agree on this one as well.
Oh?
I hope so.
I don't know.
Well, so, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but the ending.
Yeah.
It does the meme. It does the meme. You would die if your heart grew 3 times its size. It would burst inside your chest and you would not survive that.
Like Cindy kills the Grinch by making his heart grow 3 times its size, and
she stops
crushes
from a fatal blow and says, "It's okay. mean one, I forgive you, and embraces him with a hug, and he goes, "Aw," and then his heart explodes. It's amazing. That is awesome.
And like that's a good ending for it. I just wish that they went
a little further the rest of the time.
A little more with the humor.
Yeah. A little funnier. I mean, like,
they had
unfortunately
a bunch
this
to
movie
work
was
with.
really well acted.
It was.
It was well written, well acted.
It needed to go a little less serious and a little more
further
bloody.
with the blood.
Yeah. And then it would have been a much better movie. Like, I will end up watching it again, but this is not going to be in my I need to watch it every year list. Like
No.
Silent Night, Deadly Night is on that list.
Or Violent Night now.
Violent Night go watch our review of that one. You want to talk about like, yeah, this could have used that level of blood and gore, and that wasn't technically a horror movie.
That level of funny.
Yeah.
Actually, this movie should have been
And it had
Violent
a good
Night.
level of seriousness.
It did.
So, yeah.
So they could have stuck with the seriousness that they got in this movie.
Or they could have went extra campy like Terrifier. If you're going to use Terrifier as part of your ad...
Like, yeah, we went into this expecting Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Terrifier. We expected, like, balls to the wall crazy.
We actually liked Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey better than this. And it was an obvious man in a plastic mask with like honey on his face dripping off. And
you thought that was honey.
Well,
that was corn syrup, Dad.
Well, the point is, like,
it was barely not water.
It's not that we're against the cornball aspect, but
It's
there's
that
a way to do it
the
right.
cornball aspect.
We want it done a certain way, and this was just
it didn't do it.
It walked up to the line and went, "Nah, we're good."
Like it was borderline a kids movie.
I mean, no.
Don't let your kids watch this movie.
Yeah,
but
like, don't listen to what he's saying. All right. So knowing that, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Well, except here's the thing: we have to do what we do every other time. We review a movie that's supposed to be what this was supposed to be.
Yeah, this didn't make it, so it's gonna be pretty low for me.
Yeah. As a regular horror movie, and as what it was supposed to be.
As a regular horror movie, it was all right.
6.
Sure. But as what this should have been, I'm giving it a 3.5.
3, maybe a 4, but yeah, 3.5 then. Like, it was supposed to be campy. It was supposed to be crazy. It was supposed to be bloody. It was supposed to be hilarious.
There was some jokes that were decent. I liked the one where they kept almost calling him the Grinch and people would cut him off so that they couldn't...
Finch? Yeah, okay, haha. Also, like, the mayor was, like, giving him people to eat?
Yeah.
What is that?
Like...
No.
Honestly, like, we were very disappointed because it's a decent holiday horror movie.
And that's unfortunate.
If they didn't make a big deal that it's a parody.
It's a parody.
And it's
got David Howard from Terrifier.
Like, if those two things mean it needed to be more of both of those things.
And it was not much of either.
Not enough of either. And yeah, the acting was actually really... That's why we gave it a higher rating as a regular movie, considering how campy it
should have been.
That's actually a problem.
It really is.
Because we wouldn't have rated Winnie the Pooh as a 6 on a regular horror scale.
No, we didn't.
Like, no, well, we didn't rate it on a horror scale. We rated it on a scale of what it was, and
yeah,
but it got more than a 3.5. All right, so that's it for this week. Next week, we're gonna come in with another Christmas movie, and that'll probably be it for the year because we got Christmas coming up, and the studio will be closed down, and then New Year's and everything. So, you know, we'll be back at the end of. Or at the beginning of next year, and actually the first thing we're probably going to do next year is the look forward for the year, depending on if we find enough stuff.
So, until next week with another Christmas horror, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, the stuff.
It's been over a month. we forgot about the stuff. Do the stuff.
Yeah.
Start with the stuff.
While we're at it, happy Thanksgiving, and barely not even happy Halloween anymore. So yeah, you can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook, and when I say like us, I mean Gory Storytime, which has like 1,300 followers now.
Yeah, it's huge.
But also Facebook. Facebook. Fact TV. Also Facebook.
Also join Facebook. Yeah.
And I'm sober.
Me too.
I know.
Okay. You can go to factdate.com and watch you can watch a bunch of the back episodes of this as well as many other things.
Yeah. You can follow us on X. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase, and I don't tweet about the show, and
Yeah. I'm at Jiggly Fernbrain. I only tweet things that he says. I've been doing that recently.
Out of context mostly, sometimes in context if it helps make it funnier, but usually out of context.
And if he says something funny in the show or about the show, I guess it would be about the show, but regularly, no.
No, usually he's just trying to make me sound like a creep.
No. Trying to show who you are, Dad. It's okay.
Anyway.
We accept you.
Sure. Anyway, now try that again. What were you saying about next?
Goodbye?
Yeah, well, before that.
I've been your host, Jason.
And I'm his co-host and father, Craig. And
sweet dreams.